Today I'm going to assemble this Woodpeckers Super Fence with all of its optional accessories. Hi, I'm Ron Paulk. Welcome to the Smart Wood Shop. Let's get started. To begin with, this is going to be a high-paced look over at putting it together with a little overtalk here. The recommendation I have is watch this video and get a good understanding of kind of start to finish, and then follow the instructions. They are 6.5 pages, well-spaced, well-paced, easy to understand plan. So just start with step one. Step one is to put the vacuum port together, and this will work with a 2 1/4 or 2.5 vacuum hose. And it's basically 4 parts, and there's 2 different screws. And then you put it together and attach it to the base of the fence. And there are 2 screws and pre-drilled holes that they slide through, so you really can't put it in the wrong location. Next up, we're going to put together the infeed bracket. This is the fixed bracket. This will tie the base together with the infeed side, so it's a fixed position. There are 2 sides to these extrusions. There's a 2 slot side and a 3 slot side, and you'll see that we will be doing the assembly, attaching everything 2 slot side. So the 3 slot side will be down to the bench for the base and out toward your cutting surface with the 3 slot side. So you'll see that as we sort of put this together. Now I'm doing the outfeed side. Now this is an adjustable part. You can see there's another part sitting off to the side I'm not using. That's another fixed base. I could have a fixed in and a fixed out. I'm choosing to assemble it with this, the adjustable side. This allows me to offset the outfeed fence for jointing purposes. You'll get to see me use that in the shop quite a bit. And so just putting the assembly together, noticing that the 2 and the 3 slot side, just pay attention to that. These, the in and the out are separate. They are hand adjustable in and out depending on the blade you're using. So it doesn't really matter. You know, I tucked them up tight together here. Now here you can see I'm using a clamp. I'm just making sure that this is squared up. These Allen bolt connections to the base plate there, they're tight and fixed. You don't adjust those other than, say here, using a straight edge to make sure that everything lines up before I tighten those down. Next thing I'm going to do is put on the optional featherboard attachments, and these again are just bolted together with some knobs that you do with your fingers, so there's no tools required because you'll want to be able to remove these for some operations. And now I am putting on the sub fence. These are the wood sub fences, and they slide in and out as well because you'll want to take the aluminum sub fence, move it away, and then slide these wood fences in close to your blade. So your blade can actually hit the wood, not hurt them, and get some nice clean cuts when you almost have a custom shape around your cutter. Here I'm slipping on the blade guard. Again, this slips off and on, handheld. You'll need to remove it for some operations and shift it around. I am going to install another optional piece. This is the micro adjust. This moves the whole fence in and out to your cutter. Reassembling that, which is just basically centering it on its track that it comes with and then tightening down the 4 bolts to it. And then there are 2 bolts that will slide into the back of the fence. I'll center that up right on the vacuum port. So that wasn't a difficult assembly. The woodpeckers' drawings and their diagrams were very clear. They didn't mark every package, you know, an A1 or B2 or whatever for the nuts and bolts. So I had to sort of figure things out. Because I got the offset module here, that allows me to move the outfeed fence in for when I want to join an edge, and you'll get to see me do that in some future videos. The fixed mounts would go there instead of the adjustable one, so I wasn't quite sure about these. And then there were some extra nuts and bolts for how you mount the fence to your bench, and they did clearly state that if you have a track system, they have the bolts and knobs for that, and if you want to use a slot system, then they have the bolts and knobs for that. They're different, so they give you the all the hardware you need depending on the router table you're using. I also added the micro adjust, so this will further change how I attach the fence to my table. So instead of using either the track system or the slot system with the screws and knobs that go in the fence, I'll be using these knobs and still using a slot. So my table currently doesn't have either. I could easily set this up and just use my holes here and use my Festool clamps, clamp this track in, not use these knobs. I'll probably make an adjustment to this track. These holes are not set apart the distance I want using 96 millimeters. So I'll probably want to slot between these 96 millimeter holes here and equal over here. And so I'll make a micro adjustment to this because that's a fixed hole that is in this track system. So I'll just offset that so that it'll line up with the slots that I want to do. But I'll put a couple of slots in here, and when I do it, I'll probably make a video showing you me making these slots. I'll just use a jig and a router and cut them out real quick. And I'll put a couple of holes in the end so that I can drop in the washer and nut and then just slide it, grossly up to where I want it. And once that's in place, I'll be able to use this micro adjust to move the fence perfectly. This really takes my routing to the next level of accuracy. With the Woodpeckers plate, I can now move the bit up and down, very small adjustment to get perfect cuts. That's particularly helpful when I'm trying to match an existing cut. And I'll also be able to move the fence in and out. Again, I can take a test piece, make a cut, move it just a little bit with the turn. This is a really fine thread. If you enjoy dropping into the Smart Wood Shop, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, and remember, ring that little bell so that when I drop a new video, you'll know. And also, if you want a set of my workbench plans for my Paulk Compact Bench, my Paulk Workbench 2, my Paulk Total Station 2, or the Smart Wood Shop, you can click on the link at the end of this video or in the description down below. And I also have my Amazon store in the description down below. If you use that link, you'll get your same price from Amazon that you always get, but they'll share a little bit with us, which helps support these videos. Hey, thanks for dropping into the Smart Wood Shop. Have a great day.